Good morning, everybody, for Sunday, the 8th of May. Pleased to see so many of you on the grid already. Thanks for picking up the email. Where possible, I will get an email like that out, but do take into account that on weekdays, we don't actually know whether we're going to get the runway or not from 2XL until about 8 in the morning. But thankfully, everything's working with us today. Looking at the synoptic picture over the UK currently, high pressure started to build in from the northeast, just settling things down. Yesterday was a little bit showery. We still got that easterly flow for one more day today over the country. And as we go through the next sort of 24 hours or so, we'll start to pick up a southerly flow before it gets a little bit more frontal later in the week. So certainly make the most of today. It's probably going to be the best soaring day for at least the next 5 or 6 days or so. So with that easterly flow, you'll notice over most of the country, we're picking up that's generally in the region of about 10 to 15 knots, I'd say, at most. In the centre of the country, a little bit more southerly, but certainly surface winds here are going to be east. So that's that picture. Well, I've just driven in from Surrey, and a lot of sort of lowish cloud, which is starting to burn away now, thankfully. Not going to jinx the weather, we hope. To leave fairly bright skies and an improving picture as the morning goes on. Still a fair amount of cloud out in the channel though, which will probably sit out there and into western parts of the country for most of the day. The public forecast shows it brightening up here, reasonable visibility at around 20 kilometres or more, and that east to northeasterly breeze for most of the day, but not that much more than about 10 knots or so, and staying pleasant for most of the day. 17 degrees, 17 degrees or so. If by the way, if this isn't coming through properly, I know there's a lot of you on the call today. Do watch the briefing afterwards. I know one person saying there's no sound, but I would have thought you would have all squawked about that if that was actually happening, or somebody would knock on the door. The internet gets a little bit overloaded with these briefings, but yes, 17 degrees today and easterly winds, and yeah, relatively good conditions. Let's just check GFS, see if there's any difference. Probably 18 degrees is the best temperature we're going to see across the region. Not quite breaking 20 yet, so it's still about average for this time of year. Dew points, I'm pleased to say, should be relatively low at 7. So yeah, looking fairly good. METARs, we're looking first of all, that lowest level cloud was 1,300 feet initially, but it looks like that's going to be quickly increasing. Farnborough saying scattered at 2.5, and I know it will go more than that. We'll just have a look on here. Yeah, few at 3,000. Oxford's few at 3,000. It'll be more than that. These are just sort of early-ish forecasts for what it will be like this morning. But yeah, very reasonable indeed, and no real significant weather. From David, he said weak blue in the morning, and that we're going to need about 15 degrees, which the soundings do agree with, to get us 3,500 feet, and that will slowly creep up as the morning goes on. So not an early start today, but should be a good day once we get there, and a long one. So looking at top meteo, our potential flight distance for today for an 18-metre glider looks somewhere like that. So annoyingly, some of that is within the TMA, but at least good, at least locally, and out towards the sort of Fairford area, up around Oxford, Milton Keynes, down towards the south coast. So not the biggest task area that we want, but still fairly good also up towards Cambridgeshire. And we'll now have a look at the forecasts, which shows at around 10 o'clock, we're not going to be seeing too much in the way of activity. By around midday, we're going to start to see blue to shallow Q at around 3,500 feet, quickly improving by 2 o'clock to shallow Q to decent Q at around 4,000 to 4,500 feet, maybe 5,500 feet peaking. Looking across the region, good out towards, as I said, the Cotswolds, up and towards Oxfordshire. Not bad in Wales, but potentially a little bit more chance of overdevelopment. And good up towards sort of Milton Keynes, maybe Bury St Edmunds area, and up towards Husbos as well. So yeah, rubbish in the West Country. So we've done our seaside adventures for now, so no need to go there. And bear in mind also, this is a easterly, so we can see effect of sea air coming off the channel. It can come in here at times, but I'm hoping it will stop just short. It might wipe out Parham earlier than it wipes out us, but I'm hopeful that we won't see any of that today. So reasonable task area, just maybe not going too far west or into the blue. We look at the cumulus prediction, a little bit more cumulus than they were saying maybe 24, 48 hours ago. Relatively good cumulus in our area. It's a chance of overdevelopment in the west and southwest, but good Q across all of the region otherwise. Site forecast for Lasham shows average thermal strength peaking at 6 knots generally, although 3 knots, sorry, they changed it from meters per second, 3 knots, but I'm sure you all see 6 knots, and reasonably good spread of Q across the region. No real things there, and that light easterly. Freezing level today is thankfully at 8,000 feet, so you're not going to have any problem with that. Should feel nice and decent. And yeah, that thermal activity starting off probably 15.5 degrees, looking at that, and dew points dropping to 6 during the day. Okay, soundings wise, so this is for currently at Buckingham, shows sort of a lowish inversion, which is probably what this cloud is all trapped underneath, but warming up with 15 degrees at Lark Hill to show reasonable convection to around 4,000 feet. But you can see here, it's probably a bit more chance of overdevelopment out towards the west. As we look at Buckingham though for 3 o'clock, reaching a top temperature of 18 degrees today, that will give us a reasonable Q at around 5,000 feet with a dew point of about 8 degrees. No real chance of thunderstorm showers or any significant weather. Airspace wise, number 13 is us. We've no times for intense activity. We'll just go around. There is BBMF flypasts in the vicinity of Southampton, which is within the zone, but don't be surprised if you see the BBMF whizzing about between 12:55 and 13:45. That was number 6. Number 12 is winch activity at Middle Wallet, 15 and 18. Model rocket firing in Somerset. That's a question of events. Otherwise, 20 and 19. Lots of paragliders and another fly past at Wallingford between 12:45 and 13:30. Again, probably Battle of Britain Memorial flight. Further up into the country, 21, 22 and 24. Fly past at Bowden, Bladden near Kidlington. That's between 12:35 and 13:20. Lots of paragliding again. Bletchley fly past today between 12:55 and 13:40. Lots of equestrian events. Looking further up the country, 23, 26, 28. Again, more fly pasts. Air display at Sywell. That's today is potentially not active. Can't tell. No, I can't see it in the schedule there. But Sywell's probably busy anyway, and lots of fly pasts. Just see if I could spot anything else interesting for you. 29, that looks quite big. Major hang gliding competition at Deanthorpe. Yeah, up to 50 paragliders and 5 tugs. Don't imagine the tugs are that big. They're probably microlights. And look, 7,500 feet. That would be quite exciting if you're in one of those. And plus, that'd be much more than the cloud base we've ever seen. Yeah, there's a fair amount of GA activity going on today. There are no local restricted area temporaries, but please look in detail at any areas that you may be going, because it could still something might crop up. Let's look at 24 and 22. Just finish off. Yeah, just lots of paragliding. Right. Now this has been a long briefing. There's actually a lot of you on this call. This is probably one of the biggest ones we've had for a while. That's the setup. Thank you for reading the email. and we will be on the grid. Let's try and get as many of you on there as possible. I've got 4 tugs at the moment. I'll try and get up to 5 if I can get that sorted. And tugs, just a reminder that this is a sort of day where if we're not careful, we'll get noise complaints. So we'll be varying the patterns slightly. Winching will take place from by the control tower with the winch not far away from the Heritage Centre. And that's pretty much all I've got to say. Enjoy the day. I'll see you on the airfield. Bye for now.